What would you do if you knew you had only minutes to live? Would you call your loved ones, pray, or try to save yourself? Or would you take the lives of 149 innocent people with you? This is the chilling question that haunts the story of Germanwings Flight 9525, a plane that crashed into the French Alps on 24 March 2015, killing everyone on board. The investigation revealed that it was not an accident, but a deliberate act of mass murder and suicide by the co-pilot, Andreas Lubitz. How did he do it? Why did he do it? And could it have been prevented? This is the story of a flight that turned into a nightmare and a tragedy that shocked the world. It was a sunny morning on 24 March 2015 when Germanwings Flight 9525 took off from Barcelona, Spain, bound for Düsseldorf, Germany. On board were 144 passengers and 6 crew members, including the 2 pilots, Captain Patrick Sondenheimer and co-pilot Andreas Lubitz. The flight was supposed to be routine, lasting about 2 hours, but it turned out to be a tragic and horrific event. The flight reached its cruising altitude of 38,000 feet at 10:27 a.m. The captain left the cockpit to use the toilet, leaving Lubitz alone at the controls. This was the moment that Lubitz had been waiting for. He had a dark secret that he had hidden from his employer and colleagues. He was suffering from a psychiatric condition and had been taking medication for depression and anxiety. He had also been declared unfit to work by his doctor, but he had torn up the sick notes and reported for duty anyway. He had a suicidal plan to end his life and take everyone else with him. As soon as the captain left, Lubitz locked the cockpit door and set the autopilot to descend to 100 feet. He ignored the air traffic controller's calls and the captain's frantic attempts to break in. He also ignored the alarm signals and the passengers' screams. He remained silent and calm until the very end, when the plane crashed into a mountainside in the French Alps, killing everyone on board. The crash site was a scene of devastation and horror. The plane was shattered into thousands of pieces, scattered over a wide area. The bodies of the victims were mutilated and unrecognizable. The rescue workers and investigators faced a daunting task of recovering the remains and the evidence. Among the clues they found was the cockpit voice recorder, which revealed the chilling truth about what had happened in the last minutes of the flight. The investigation concluded that Lubitz had deliberately caused the crash, acting with suicidal intent and homicidal disregard for the lives of others. He had researched methods of suicide and cockpit security on the internet before the flight. He had also practiced the rapid descent on the same plane earlier that day. He had shown signs of mental instability and vision problems, but he had concealed them from his employer and colleagues. He had betrayed the trust and responsibility that came with his profession. The crash of Germanwings Flight 9525 was one of the worst aviation disasters in history and one of the rare cases of pilot suicide. It raised questions about the screening and monitoring of pilots' mental health and the security of cockpit doors. It also sparked a debate about the balance between privacy and safety and the role of doctors in reporting unfit pilots. It also provoked a wave of grief and anger among the families and friends of the victims who demanded justice and compensation from the airline and the co-pilot's family. The co-pilot's family, however, refused to accept the official findings that their son was solely responsible for the crash. They claimed that he was not suicidal, but had suffered from a medical condition that impaired his judgment. They also questioned the validity and reliability of the evidence and the investigation. They held a press conference in March 2017, on the 2nd anniversary of the crash, to present their own analysis and challenge the official version. They faced criticism and backlash from the public and the media, who accused them of being in denial and disrespecting the victims. The crash of Germanwings Flight 9525 remains a painful and controversial topic even after years of the incident. It is a story of a young man who had a promising career and a passion for flying, but who also had a dark side that led him to commit a heinous act. It is a story of a flight that was supposed to be routine, but that turned into a nightmare. It is a story of 150 lives that were cut short by a senseless and deliberate act of violence.